This is how they set up the scammers. I'm trying to call the Federal Trade Commission. It won't let me place the call. And keep in mind, some of these situations were emergencies. Now the scammers are in place.
Fraud. Or to file a consumer complaint, that's one. For other FTC listen carefully to the following menu items. Trade Commission, Consumer Response Center. My name is Hector. Have you filed a report with us before?
I tried to. I kept getting hung up on. You can see if anything was happening. There's a lot of other incidences that occurred that I'd like to report.
Ma'am, can you please take me off the speakerphone to see if I can hear you better?
I'm not able to. I can't hear on the speakerphone myself.
No. Try to speak not so loud so the audio doesn't cut out then.
Okay, it's a bad connection for 5 years? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, nothing.
Can I have your first name?
It's Kiana, Keyana.
And your last name?
Clark, Clark.
So what are you reporting with us?
Do you see the older report?
Ma'am, you haven't given me a reference number.
Oh, what's your name?
Hector.
Okay, do you have an employee ID or ID?
No, we don't have anything like that.
So you have to have a reference number for a past report because there's all these catch-22s. It's so difficult to find police reports and all kinds of reports all over. Is there anything else you can use besides a reference number?
Ma'am, if you give me one moment. Okay,
I don't know why so many people have the same pattern, sir. I mean, the customer service is just poor. I mean, my situation is very bizarre. What's your position?
Well, I am sorry, ma'am.
What's your position? What's your position? Sure. What's your position?
Find your report, okay?
Yes, what's your position?
One moment.
You don't want me to know your position? You have to think of it? What's your position?
One moment.
You're still having bad customer service because I asked your position?
Well, ma'am, one moment. I'm trying to find your report. Okay?
You're trying to find the report.
I don't have anything like that. I don't have no report from you.
You don't have the report for 5 years?
No record of you.
I don't know. I think it absolutely must have something to do with why police were waiting at AT&T and keep on threatening arrest for me trying to report what's going on with my phone. They're corrupt police. So maybe I can report it again. I don't get my calls returned. And then a lot of representatives hung up in my face. They were covering for the experience. So are you ready to do the report?
Now, are you complaining against the police?
Are you ready to do the report now?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm asking you a question.
Okay. It would be from, what, do you take complaints against the police department?
No, we don't. Man.
Okay. No, it would be for me, the crime that they're committing with the crimes being committed with my cell phone. A hack phone network being defrauded out of funds, paying for phone service that they're sabotaging, which is criminal. And for a lot of hotels committing crimes for identity theft rings to defraud me out of funds.
Okay. All right. All right. What else?
I guess that's it. Do you need to know the locations? This is very vague. Are you sure you're trying to report it? Your name's Jorge?
Okay. Can I have your primary phone number?
Yeah, because you didn't ask any information regarding myself. Yes, the primary phone number. Okay, so what do you have regarding the report now?
What you told me, ma'am. Okay.
Can you do a recap for good customer service?
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
You can't?
All right. I said I cannot, ma'am, okay?
Okay, so I'm reporting identity theft. Did you get the name of the organization, the name of the business?
You never never said the name of the business, man.
I just know I'm concerned about the customer service I've had to endure years. Did you get the name of the cell phone provider that's allowing corrupt government officials hack the phone network?
You never
Because
said
I'm
it.
sure
You
if
never
they're
said
corrupt and they have an identity theft ring, maybe they're doing it to other
Right.
citizens. Maybe
Right.
they were already doing it and had scammers already in their pocket. So they just used an
Right.
abusive scenario with me, knowing full blown, well, no one would believe their crimes.
Okay, yeah.
And then using the smear campaign, even if they did, to convince people I didn't have value, so they would be allowed to torture and violate me, convincing other people that corrupt government officials that run the government, judges, police, have more value than me when their crimes that they're committing because of their power, position, and privilege. Just if some would, think that kind of way. So I don't understand how I'm doing a report and you don't have the name of the business or the provider or the cell phone provider that's committing the crimes, enforcing that I speak with counterfeits.
Never given me a name. Okay?
You're the customer service representative.
Well,
Your
then
customer
give me a
service
name.
is poor for me for all different places that I call for 5 years.
Thank you. Okay.
So we're doing a report and you're trying to end the call and you don't have any information of who's committing the crimes?
Man, you never mentioned any names, okay?
You're doing, what information do you need? I thought you were the employee doing the customer service on the report line.
Ma'am, okay.
The cons are exhausting. I just hope that you guys rack up the charges for the crimes that you're committing. So this is what did I call?
Sorry?
What did I call?
You called the Federal Trade Commission.
And what was your name?
Ma'am, I gave you my name already. And what I'm going to do is...
What's your name?
For Supervisor, okay?
What is your name? This is the con for the psychological damage you hold again for 5 years. Supervisors. He probably didn't know his name.
Okay, my name is Hector. I'm the supervisor on the floor. May I have your name?
It's Kiana. He's transferred you blindly?
Yes, ma'am. Well, he did give me information, but I do have to verify, make sure I'm looking at the right record before I update or go over the record with you.
Yeah, customer service has really been poor since I've been in my abuse. So you repetitively, like at the domestic violence organizations, the one that they call and that cons that they're full, you have to repeat the torture that you've endured over and over. It's a form of psychological abuse. But anyway, so what did you need me to report again?
Just your name. Just your name.
Okay. What does it say? The complaints regarding Hector was being covering for crimes and being problematic, like they did my last call. They kept hanging up in my face.
About crimes being committed.
Right. He didn't want the businesses. He didn't want to follow the protocol. And each time that I'm calling, your representatives are covering up for crimes. In fact, a while back, they kept hanging up in my face.
And Ms. Clark, what companies are involved? Because I just see here hotels, cell phone, ID theft, quite a bit all over the place here. A lot of reporting, but no.
Yeah, let me give you my YouTube channel so you can take a look at it. Let me give you my YouTube channel so you can take a look at all of them. There's so many. It happens so frequently.
Yes, ma'am.
It's right, because what they're doing is I go in, the corrupt government officials they're hacking my phone network, and they're enlisting my providers to conceal their crimes. But these are criminals that have already defrauded me out of funds. So for years I've been calling scammers. They know full blown well no one would believe my story. But these scammers don't call me back, and they conceal crimes, and their only objective is someone will actually believe that I'm calling the real location. But they're actually con artists and spoof calls. These scammers also control my incoming calls and sabotage incoming calls, so 95% of the calls that I'm making aren't returned. And then when I go to my provider, corrupt government officials that don't want to go to prison, they show up and enlist my provider to commit crimes and give me a criminal trespass, enforcing their criminal activity. So they don't want to lose control over my phone, because it would be a jail sentence for a lot of different parties. But even though it is criminal, I don't want people that are corrupt governing my phone, that are abusers, controlling my calls, defrauding me out of funds even further than what they've already done.
Right,
So I'll go ahead and add that information here to, where to look for the supporting evidence.
Yes, and then these scammers also with Motel 6, they enlist these same corrupt government officials, enlist multiple different businesses to conspire with identity theft schemes and avenues to defraud me out of funds, like Motel 6. So I've been defrauded out of thousands, but here's the thing, I'm fleeing a domestic violence crisis and I'm homeless, fighting for my life. And for them, to defraud someone like me out of funds, I wonder what they do if it was someone that had was rich and had funds. They're openly defrauding me out of funds with no consequences. And just because they carry the label as police, judges, and government officials, they're able to defraud people out of funds with no consequences. But they put others in jail for their crimes. But some kind of way they think that they are above the law and they don't deserve consequences for their crimes because they're power, position, and title. I don't think that's right.
Ms. Clark, so we'll go ahead and submit this complaint. Did Hector give you the reference number for what you reported?
Okay, so what's the procedure? What will happen now? Because I've already reported this and representatives kept hanging up at my face a long time ago.
So what we do with these complaints, we make these available to our team of attorneys and investigators. They use this information to look for patterns of law violations or fraud and abuse that can lead to investigations.
Did you hear what I said? What happened to me?
Yes, ma'am.
So what will happen if what I'm saying is true?
Unfortunately, the FTC cannot resolve individual consumer complaints or help you individually. On something like this, we can only use it to look for patterns of fraud and abuse.
Okay, let me go to your web channel, your web page, because I experience this a lot with people not being honest with me what I'm calling. So let me go to your website and tell you what you're supposed to do. It says that you protect consumers.
In a class action matter. Correct. At a national level, not individually. You have to seek legal advice for individual assistance.
Okay, let's see. One moment. It wasn't letting me click in it, so I was trying to go to my YouTube channel. Okay, now it's allowing me to see it. Okay, so it's saying it says it won't let me click into it, but I had already copied it. It says businesses must provide victims and law enforcement with transaction records relating to identity theft. How am I going to provide it if you guys aren't allowing me to and aren't being honest? So what do you think the procedure is when I do the report?
I'm not too sure what procedure
You're a supervisor? And I reported identity theft and you just take it like people have done for 5 years and do nothing with it? And crimes being committed with my cell phone that have cost me to be defrauded out of funds, and there's nothing that you can do. You just listen to it like they've done for 5 years and then just pretend like you're doing something regarding it and throw all the information in the trash that you may not have even recorded. So what are you saying in this scam that you're going to do when I'm reporting these crimes? Because
what I would do here is I would file an identity theft report for you, and then once I complete your identity theft report, I will also have the opportunity to create a free identitytheft.gov account. With that account, you're able to log into identitytheft.gov and update the report 24 hours a day.
What are you? For 5 years of this. Okay. So reporting those crimes, you don't call me back or do anything like the FBI and the DOJ and all law enforcement avenues. You don't do anything. You just let it go by the wayside.
We don't contact consumers. Well, the information is made available to local.
So why does it say on the site that you must have the information, the documentation, you must provide victims and law enforcement with transaction records relating to identity theft? Why does it say that?
Well, that's the company where the identity theft occurred. So if you're reporting identity theft at a certain credit card company, it is there to give you those records once you're disputing it as identity theft.
I am reporting SMI One Card as well. SMI One Card has been contributing to identity theft and covering for people defrauding me out of funds as well as defrauding me out of funds themselves. So if you're not doing what the website says, so are you going to investigate these people that are defrauding me out of funds and committing the crimes with my cell phone?
not necessarily. We don't investigate individual consumers.
Well, if you've gotten away with it 5 years, but like what I've been trying to tell people, before when people just let me sit in my abuse and very little was done. Just imagine if you had someone you loved, someone you deemed as having value. For me, it does not have to be someone in my direct circle. I was compassionate regarding anyone getting violated. But apparently in 2023, churches, DOJ, FBI, and an army full of people don't have any regard for people getting violated if it's not in their present circle. Because like I said, I don't mean to judge anyone, but to leave someone in this level of insanity with very little being done and still 2023, I'm still in it. So if someone's calling and reporting the insanity, keep doing it until something happens. It's dangerous for all mankind. I stated this before COVID, to have business after business defraud someone out of funds, control someone's phone, family members, children, churches, DOJ, police department, FBI, multiple different locations, mail, calls, and torture them every avenue that they have, walking down the road, which is shopping. I mean, just all kind of different kind of insanity. So I'm fully aware by these really bizarre calls for 5 years that something is amiss with these calls. I'm just trying to help other parties see my experience. So like a army full of other people, I don't get my calls returned. So I just really don't see the significance of this report if nothing's going to be done with it. You haven't given me anything that you're going to do regarding my multitude of extreme events that I've reported to you.
Well, ma'am, I did give you the role of the FTC. We don't help individual consumer complaints. We work in a class action manner. But for identity theft, I can file an identity theft report for you, create an account that you can have access to.
Okay, what is it going to do if I have an account that I have access to? I mean, each time I'm reporting something, people disregard their responsibility or deflect their responsibility in my reports and put the responsibility on me in schemes to deprive me of my rights. So if I'm reporting to the Federal Trade Commission, what do you do?
Well, ma'am, we use this information to look for patterns of fraud and abuse, and it's given to law enforcement. But when it comes to identity theft, we can provide you.
It's given to law enforcement, and then what happens? Then what happens when it's given to law enforcement?
They use it in the course of their criminal investigations. I'm not sure what they use the information for.
Okay, so this is the FTC, and I'm reporting crimes and fraud. And now, after I told you what your website state, you went ahead and state that you do give it to law enforcement. And you're not sure what law enforcement does when someone's reporting criminal activity? And you want me to believe that you're not a scammer?
Well, FTC is a civil law enforcement agency. We can't bring criminal charges, so I can't give you information on other agencies that work.
You didn't say they investigated, as you haven't done. I mean, these calls for 5 years just give me a sense of. I'm sorry. Hello. Did you tell me to have a nice day reporting all these extreme events? Years. So, I can understand if it was $442, but let's just $442. Let's just take a inventory. So SMI One covers for crime, so it's saying primary loss, not stolen. Because if they're making fraudulent transactions now, so they're covering for crime, saying that I lost it, and now that it's stolen, my bank did the same thing. So there's a lot of transactions that have been canceled. No one's investigating because I believe that they set up for the pickpocketing. That's why they keep covering for them. Okay, so in the past, they did have the deposits hidden because they didn't want me to know what my deposits were. And now you can see them. Okay, so Crown Plaza, it has correct. I'll put the other video on the feed. There was an issue with Crown Plaza. There was a issue, let's see, with Days Inn. They wouldn't give me funds. Then right here, just look at the dates. Look at the dates. So Days Inn defrauded me out of funds. Then we have Studio 6 defrauded me out of funds. Walmart defrauded me out of funds with the bag. And then when all that chaos occurred, they finally gave me a credit. The police were supervising it because I was recording, but they were playing games with this defective bag I bought that was supposed to have wheels, but it didn't work properly at purchase. There was problems with the Sheraton. Look at the dates. Then they corrected it. Sheraton didn't want to go down, but I guess Motel 6 Market Center didn't mind. So this was just in 1 month. Keep in mind that this person has been pickpocketed, violated by the government, and this was just for this month alone. I'm not speaking of all the other times I've been conned out of funds. You know, this was just a video diary of my experiences. This is the $91.99 that I was supposed to be billed, and then they billed me the $400 and something. Then the Smart Travel, when the police interrupted me at Holiday Inn Express, right here. And then, not to mention that I am getting railroaded and blacklisted from all domestic violence organizations, all shelters, all law enforcement. Every environment is controlled down to going and running into the store and trying to go to 7-Eleven and getting something out of 7-Eleven. If I go right now to run in 7-Eleven, there's going to be chaos waiting for me on my route to 7-Eleven if I choose to go there. So this is a video diary. You know, my family member said, "What do you want to do today?" Well, how can I help you? Well, everywhere I go, they're committing crimes. I said, you tell me. I have no clue. Everywhere I call on my phone, it's a crime. Everywhere I go, it's a crime. What do I do? We came up with nothing, so I just sat here. I've accomplished very little. What change do you see? I'm still getting arrested and defrauded out of funds. Still don't have access to my beloved children that I love and miss dearly. Still don't have access. So what changes do you see?